It's time to sound the alarm on a couple teams, and one of those teams is the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's time to sound the alarm. The alarm. The Chargers beat the Steelers 25-10. And boy, was I thinking that this game was going to be a snooze fest the way it started. I told my homeboy that's a Chargers fan, I said, I'm not sold on y'all. I said, I'm sorry. I know Herbert's nice. I like Herbert. I think Herbert is elite. I think he's really, really good. But as a team, as a whole, I'm not sold on y'all. I'm sorry. So y'all going to get beat by Pittsburgh, and then it's just going to go up in shambles. They're going to destroy that O-line, that depleted O-line of y'all. They're going to have Herbert getting clotheslined and getting rock bottomed and getting DDT'd and getting Batista bombed all game, and it's just gonna be hard for y'all to move the ball. And boy, in that first half, did I think I was right. I thought I was too right. I thought I was Mr. Right in that first half. It was like 3-5 with 2 minutes to go in the first half. It looked like a baseball score out there. It was like 3-5. I'm like, yo, like that's a shift. Like half of the game is over. It's almost halftime. Half of the game is over, and the score is 3-5, y'all. 3-5. All you seen so far was Herbert getting sacked and slapped and tapped and all the above. Not only did you have Herbert getting slammed and whammed and bammed over there, then you got Aaron Rodgers overthrow galore, getting safeties, missed field goals for Pittsburgh. It was just bad. But with like 50 seconds left in the first half, Herbert finds his guy, McConkey, for the touchdown. Now it's 12-3. And that's a lead. As much as I was talking SHIT to him and I was saying that they couldn't beat the Steelers because their defense was good, I forgot about that offense, bro. The Steelers offense is horrible. I'm talking about horrible. That offense is horrible. Look at Mike Tomlin's face. Don't make that face, Mike Tomlin. Why are you making that face? You know what you putting on the field. You know what product you putting on the field. You had all of, I don't know how long the trade deadline is, but you had all of that time to give up some of those picks and go after a wide receiver too. You got Jacoby Myers out here going for a 4th rounder. He's better than any number 2 you got on that field right now. Sometimes he looked better than DK Metcalf. How do you go the whole NFL trade deadline and you don't bring in no other wide receiver? Like, come on. Like, what are we really being serious with this team right now? Do you think that this is like, what do you think? Do you think this is Kenneth Gainwell, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin? Like, they're NFL caliber players, but whenever you're trying to make a playoff push, if you're trying to make it to the Super Bowl, they gonna lock DK Metcalf up. The boy can only do about 2 routes and just be strong and big. That's a shame on Pittsburgh. That's a shame on management. That's just a shame on the whole organization for not going to go get another receiver. That offense is horrible. Shout out to Jaylen Warren in this hurdle though. He's nice. That's the only positive I could think of for the Steelers. He might mess around and be their best wide receiver, a running back. I don't sit up here on my high horse and think that I know everything. I didn't believe in the Chargers. I didn't believe in this offensive line. I didn't think that they could do anything with that Pittsburgh defense, but they won, and they won convincingly. Shout out to Herbert. Shout out to Ladd, bro. Like, man, like, I know he was good at Georgia, but Brock Bowers probably just overshadowed. I'm saying probably. Brock Bowers overshadowed everything offensively from Georgia at Georgia. But Ladd, bro, he's a lad. He's a lad. I appreciate everybody who made it to the end of this video. We're going to recap Monday Night Football after Monday Night Football, and we're going to talk about that because that's a good game. That's going to be a good game. Y'all let me know who wins tonight. Green Bay, Eagles. Who you got? Appreciate all the support. Hit that like button. See y'all in the next video. Who dat? Shuck, yeah. Falcons and Colts game, and you know, Saints fan, no Saints fan, Penix ain't it. Penix ain't no Shuck. I tell you that. Penix ain't it, y'all. Atlanta fans, I know we don't see eye to eye. I know y'all don't see eye to eye with the Saints. I know, hey, we rivals. We don't like each other. When it comes to the football field, we go at it. The Falcons and the Saints, we rivals. We've been rivals. But can y'all keep it 100? All the rappers, everybody in Atlanta talk about some keep it 100. All you hear about is everybody saying they keep it 100. Can you keep it 100 about your quarterback? Can we talk about Penix? Is Penix the guy for y'all or what? Keep it 100. Keep it real. Keep it 100. Penix ain't it. I'm talking about underthrow galore with him. Every ball is either an underthrow or it's late, could get picked. It's uncatchable. Y'all better off starting Ritter. Y'all better off having Ritter out there. Penix ain't it, y'all. He not. I'm sorry that it has to come from a Saints fan, but can y'all keep it 100? What's up? Are y'all still riding with Penix? Y'all still think that he's him? I mean, the Colts only had 13 points in the fourth quarter, y'all. By the time it was the fourth quarter, the Colts only had 13 points, and y'all still found a way to lose the game. The ball was in short field. The ball was at midfield multiple times for y'all to score, but Penix can't get it done. He just can't. He can't get it done. Look at this throw right here, y'all. This should be a touchdown every day of the week. This ball should be thrown to the end zone, almost to that back pylon. Not all the way, but Pitts got steps. It's not usually you say, yeah, that receiver had a step on that. He had steps, multiple steps on the DBs. And somehow this ball ends up hitting the DB that, here go Pitts. He got him beat. He looking for the ball. The ball landed all the way back here. And that's not the only play. It was multiple plays like that all game. Drake London, out routes. Ball is in the ground. Ball is in the Colts defender's hands. It was bad for Penix out there tonight. But with all of that being said, it was still a winnable game. You got to give the Falcons defense credit. They held the Colts to 13 points, and it's in the fourth quarter. Your offense got to do something. Your offense got to give you some type of cushion if you think that you're going to do something in the NFC South. When you got Shuck coming, when you got the Saints about to turn up, don't let us catch y'all. Y'all got 3 wins. Y'all got 3 wins. We only had 1 win. Now we got 2 wins. We might have 3 wins. Then when we see y'all, knock y'all up out of the park, and then we're going to get up in there and we're going to get it going. Hey, man, I can't wait till we see the Falcons, man. I just can't wait till we see the Falcons. We done already visit the zoo in Carolina and left with a panther. Now we might have to head to Atlanta, or I don't know if y'all come to us. I don't know which one is first, but we might have a panther and we might have a falcon. We might have to call Ace Ventura because we're going to have all the pets. But shout out to the Colts, man. Y'all got the win in overtime. It wasn't hard. Y'all made it look so hard. Why'd y'all make it look so hard with the Falcons? Like, really, like, making it seem like this is a tough team. But if you saw the way that Penix was playing out there, y'all, then y'all would understand where I'm coming from. I mean, you got Drake London. That dude right there, man. Let's go ahead and get a shout out to Drake London. Like, how does Sauce Gardner end up like this? Like, how you end up on all fours and hands and knees and toes and shoulders and hands, knees and shoulders and toes on all fours? How you make a DB end up like that? I'm not going to talk about how terrible Sauce Gardner played all game today because this was his first game. It wasn't his first game playing football, so he don't get that pass, but it was his first game in a new defense, a new scheme, and it seemed like it was a little bit slippery out there. So I ain't gonna go too hard. I ain't gonna go too hard on Sauce Gardner, but he didn't look like Sauce. But you know who had the sauce? You know who had the drip? You know who had the sauce? Excuse me, was JT, and I'm not talking about Jason Tatum. I'm talking about Jonathan Taylor out there running it up on them boys, and he was looking unstoppable. This play right here, bro, went for a touchdown. Yes, this play went for an 80-yard running touchdown. Shout out to Jonathan Taylor. He ran all up and down Atlanta defense's throat tonight. Even though they play relatively well, you look at Jonathan Taylor and you look at those stats, like almost 300 yards on the ground, and you're like, Atlanta defense didn't play well. They got stops when they needed to get stops with Jonathan Taylor. This was your game. This was your MVP stamp. I don't know who's gonna get it. I might have to do my own video on that, who I think's gonna win awards, like mid-season award rankings or whatever. But right now, he put a stamp in that top 3, letting them know like, hey, running backs is still out here and they still doing their thing. It was 1 minute left in regulation. It was a 3rd and 21 for the Colts, and I kid you not, I think Daniel Jones was standing on Atlanta's 30. Yes, I think Daniel Jones was standing on the Atlanta Falcons 30-yard line on a 3rd and 21, and they still ended up converting, ended up in field goal range, kicked the field goal, tied it up. Now we got overtime, and you knew what was going to happen to overtime. Outside of a few short fields with Atlanta, they haven't done nothing. You know what happens? Nothing. They produce nothing in the overtime. They give the ball to the Colts. What a fitting way to end the game with Jonathan Taylor. Touchdown. Ravens beat the Vikings 27-19. Jettas, man, Justin Jefferson, I'm calling you out. I mean, what can I say? You my guy, LSU, best receiver in the league, standing on that still. But this performance right here wasn't it. This performance right here wasn't it. This was a sorry effort. This was a trash performance, a weak performance, a lame performance, a sucker performance, whatever you call it, wherever you from, however you talk, whatever your slang is, that's what it was from Justin Jefferson. Was it a bad throw? Yes. Did he have the first down if he would have just scrambled? Yes, but you can't be mad at your quarterback, basically a rookie quarterback, giving you a chance at a high point ball. We've seen you make these catches multiple times throughout the year. You can't be mad at your quarterback giving you a chance and saying, hey, if I would rather run for a first down, or would I give it to my number 1 receiver, the best receiver in the league, to go make a play? No, it wasn't the best throw. No, it wasn't the best pass. But the fact that they catch it on an interception and you just are just standing there, like, bro caught it and he's running back and you're just like throwing your hands up in the air at JJ and just like walking off to the sideline while bro is returning the pick. Like, you didn't even try to like tackle him or no effort. That's lame. That's just lame. At that point right there, I was like, I don't think the Vikings are gonna win this game. And they were holding the Ravens to field goals. Like, the Ravens had no touchdowns to this point. I don't think the Ravens had a touchdown in the first half. Going into halftime, the Ravens had 9 points off of field goals. No touchdowns. Yes, Lamar Jackson was playing. Yes, Zay Flowers was playing. Yes, Derrick Henry was playing. 9 points. And then on 3rd and 1, Justin Jefferson does the same thing. I'm thinking this is a one-off. When he did it the first time, I'm thinking he probably went to the sideline, got himself right, and was just like, man, you know what? I gotta play harder. I gotta play for the team. That was lame. I know JJ can't control. He don't want to throw a pick. It's a 3rd and 1. JJ, this is a one-on-one. This is not a bad play call. Justin Jefferson just got his feet tangled up with Marlon Humphrey and he fell down. This isn't a bad play call at all. If they could have this play over again, they'll run it again. They'll run it the same way. It's a one-on-one, Justin Jefferson, Marlon Humphrey. It's a one-on-one. Marlon Humphrey and Justin Jefferson, they get their feet tangled up. Justin Jefferson ends up on the ground. Marlon Humphrey's still on his feet. Pick. Same thing. Marlon Humphrey's trying to return the ball. Justin Jefferson's walking. Like, just walking. Like, walking. And I'm like, Vikings not going to win this game. They not. They had the lead. Ravens couldn't score a touchdown for nothing. I just said they're not going to win. Whenever your best player is playing like this and has this type of attitude and has this type of effort, you're just not winning. Because that's just like infectious. Like, whenever you see somebody just being like a Debbie Downer, you don't want to party. You don't want to have a good time. You can't have a good time. How can your quarterback trust you in those one-on-one situations later on in the game if you are just not giving effort? Either you're falling or you just because you're not in good position, you just pout. Like, what? How much? Like, what does that say to JJ whenever it's the 4th quarter or it's late in the 3rd and you still got time to win? And he's looking him off. Like, you see him, like you watch his head and he's purposely throwing checkdowns now because he's second guessing, like, oh, Justin Jefferson is kind of covered, so maybe I shouldn't throw it to him because he's just gonna say I'm trash to everybody. That was lame. That just was lame. That was my biggest takeaway from this game. Shout out to the Ravens. Another short down and distance. They take Derrick Henry off the field. That's starting to become a common thing. Justice Hill on the goal line, punching it in, something that Derrick Henry cannot do. He can't get those short yardages no more. They're doing play actions. They're doing QB sprint outs whenever they're in goal-to-goal situations. It's just bad for Derrick Henry right now. He's somebody that's not popping off my screen, but just this whole game, I just was thrown off with the Vikings, thrown off with Justin Jefferson, and I just thought like, hey man, they were not winning the game. Shout out to Naylor though. Seems like JJ McCarthy and Naylor have a good connection. Naylor was out there playing like Justin Jefferson today. I'm talking about my boy was out there. He toe tap, bobbling tough catches. Shout out to Naylor. He showed up. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about this game. Jets and Browns. This was a nasty game. This was a stinky game. This was stinky. Don't let that score fool you. Don't let that 20-27 score fool you. Don't think that if you cut this game on, you're going to see 27 points and you're going to see 20 points because you only saw about 12 of them. For real, for real. The Jets had 2 special teams touchdowns, y'all. 2 special teams touchdowns in the first quarter. But the Browns, they did all their damage. They did all they were in that first half. In that first couple of drives for the Browns, I'm thinking like, okay, Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel. Like, Dillon Gabriel was looking nice. The offense was looking nice. What happened in the second half? Like, genuinely, what happened? What happened? They were looking good. They were scoring. It just looked so easy in the first half. It looked like it was just, you know, like they were playing football. The Browns as a whole was playing good. The Browns had 17 points in the first half. All real points. And guess how many points the Browns had by the time it was the fourth quarter? 17. Justin Fields had less than 20 passing yards going into the fourth quarter. The Browns defense had to be livid. The Browns defense had to be hot. The Browns defense had to be furious. If you hold a quarterback in 2025, if you hold a NFL, not a college, not a high school, not a middle school, not a park, not a rec quarterback, an NFL quarterback to less than 20 passing yards in the fourth quarter, heading into the fourth quarter, and you still lose the game. But shout out to Justin Fields on this screenplay right here. This was a 0 blitz. Look how, you know, that's one quarterback I would like to talk to. Not too many quarterbacks I would like to hear something from, but Justin Fields, man, he'll be somebody that'll be dope to talk to. Like, bro, like how you take all these hits and you just next play, you just come up there and hike the ball and you just play like it just didn't happen. Like that dude's one tough SOB. I mean, this ended up being a touchdown. It was a good play call, good reaction to the blitz because you see all those people that are on Justin Fields. That means Breece Hall only had to get past like 2 defenders and he had the blockers. He had the convoy with him. It was a good play. It was a good play call by the Jets, but I was just looking at that and I'm like, damn, Justin Fields do be taking a lot of hits. Dillon Gabriel didn't play good, but if you watch that game, there wasn't nothing he can do with that line. That offensive line was so bad. I thought the Browns were supposed to have if anything, the Browns were supposed to have a good offensive line, but the Jets, they made quick and easy work of that offensive line and just had Dillon Gabriel looking dazed and confused all game. Well, all game in that second half. We talked about some good games. We talked about some not so good games depending on your team. Now let's talk about the upset of the week. Miami beats the Bills. Yes. In 2025, not on Madden Ultimate Team, not on a video game. In real life, the game that we all saw Sunday, the Dolphins beat the Bills 30-13. Yo, what's going on? We don't even know what teams are good and we don't even know what teams are bad this year. The Bills just went out there, beat Kansas City, beat them and just put them away and was like, okay, we're stacking wins. We're back on track. Then they get knocked off that track. Then they get knocked off that track by Tua and A-Chan. A-Chan's name was all over this game, y'all. A-Chan, I told y'all last week when Miami lost, I said, why are you taking the ball out of A-Chan's hands? 15 completions tonight for Tua and 21 attempts. That's all you need. You don't need Tua to be out here throwing the ball 28, 29, 34 times a game. Get the ball in A-Chan's hand and he will lead you. No matter if you're giving it to him in the screen game, no matter if you're getting it to him in quick action, toss right up the middle. That dude right there is a real running back. Every time I see Miami play, I'm just like, A-Chan. That dude right there is good. He's good. It's not hard. Look at San Francisco. It's not hard to get your best players the ball. Miami just seems to go away from the run too fast, too often. Achane has gotten you 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 7s. A lot of running backs out here can't even get you short yardage, and he's getting you long yardage as a running back. Hey, respect to Achane right there. Tua's still out here throwing interceptions. Tua's still out here throwing deep balls to Waddle. Ain't nothing changed with Tua. You don't know what you're going to get when he released the ball. Whenever you watching, you know how like whenever you watching the game and whenever the player says hike, you're watching the quarterback, you're watching the line at first. You can't see the receivers. You don't know if the receivers are open or not unless you're at the game or unless you're watching a different angle. But for the most part, you don't know what the receivers are doing down the field until the quarterback lets the ball go and then the camera shows us where he's throwing. Every time Tua drops back, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just like, it's Christmas and you're opening up a gift. Every time Tua drops back, you don't know what's going to happen. He drops back, pick. He drops back, Jalen Waddle down there. You don't know, or as I should say, you know what you're going to get from Tua. You don't know if it's going to be a pick. You don't know if it's going to be a nice play. The only thing you know what's going to happen with Tua is whenever he throw them screen passes because you can see it all in one motion. But as soon as you see this, you don't know what's going on. The score was 16-0 going into halftime. The Bills had the same amount of points as us. The Bills had the same amount of points as us watching it right here at the crib. We all had 0. I ain't had no points. They ain't had no points. You look at Josh Allen, 300 yards, and you probably think, man, how did they lose this game? Josh Allen was wheeling. He was dealing. But that's why you don't look at the stats right there. That's why you got to watch the games. Even if you don't like the teams, if you want to know how a player played, just watch it. Just turn on the highlights or something. Watch the game. You can't just look at the stats and be like, damn, it wasn't Josh Allen's fault. Still had an interception. Still had a costly fumble, but Josh Allen, this was not an MVP performance. He was still high. He was still not like high, like he was still like they were still riding high off of that Kansas City win. Came to Miami and they just didn't have it. Shout out to Miami. This is a division rival. You don't see people really just whoop division rivals. I've been saying that all episode. The name of this episode should be Division Rival. Face at. But Miami's defense, let's go ahead and give them a shout out, man. They've been balling these past couple of games. Their run defense is something that's really popped out for me. That run defense has really popped, y'all. As quiet as kept, they held Bijan Robinson to 25 yards. Then they played the Ravens, and yes, Derrick Henry did have 100, but if you were watching that game, I remember watching that game on Thursday night. They had Derrick Henry in check until that second half whenever the Ravens got the lead and they just start pounding the rock. But for the most part, they held Derrick Henry in check. And then this week, and you play Buffalo and you hold James Cook under 60 yards, which he's been averaging. I don't know how much he's been averaging, but it seems like he's almost had 100 every game. That defense from Miami has been playing really good. I got hot, then I got cold again. Let's just throw the jacket back on. I do one take with the jacket off, and I start getting cold. You know who else is cold? You know who else is cold and then took off their jacket that's just cold? Like, they just so cold. It's the Texans defense. Shout out to the Texans and shout out to Davis Mills. The Houston Texans beat the Jacksonville Jaguars today, y'all. 36-29, and the Texans scored 26 points in the fourth quarter. And Houston's defense was all over this game. You can't look at the scores. I think it was 29-10 in the fourth or 29-10 late in the third. And it just looked like the Texans were dead in the water. It looked like the fish was floating in the top of the fish tank and it was time to scoop them up. But as soon as you try to scoop the fish up, it starts swimming again, and the fish was still alive, and the fish in this instance is the Texans today. 2 turnovers to start off the game. Jacksonville gained this lead by short fields and turnovers from the Texans, and whenever the Texans actually started playing team football and stopped turning the ball over, the Jacksonville Jaguars cannot do anything on offense. They need to figure this out. I know there was no Brian Thomas Jr. I know there was no Travis Hunter, but when you're up 29-10 against any team and you think that you're going to be a playoff threat, you got to put them to bed. But the Houston Texans said, hey, we don't got no bad time. We don't get put to bed. We go to sleep when we want to go to sleep. Jacksonville started the game off hot. Hey, you got to give them their credit. They started the game off right. They started the game off hot, scoring off of 2 turnovers from the Houston Texans. Texans throw a pick. They score 3. Texans fumbled the kickoff. They score 7. And then they get like a kickoff return or a punt return for a touchdown. It was all Jacksonville's way. This whole game was Jacksonville. It was the Ville of Jacks. It's 29-10 headed into the fourth quarter. You're thinking, hey, man, this has really been all Jacksonville. It's been all Jacksonville. Yes, Jacksonville has had some short fields, but you can't really blame them for that. That's on you, Houston. You have not been putting points on the board. You've been punting. You've been turning the ball over. You've been giving them opportunities. You've been giving them chances to score, but it's really hard to stop teams whenever they have a short field. The defense had balled out. The defense tried their best. They held the Jacksonville Jaguars to a lot of field goals. I don't know how many attempts or how many makes Cam Little had, but he had kicked like 3 or 4 field goals this game, and that's good defense. That's 4 touchdowns off the board. But once this fourth quarter started, they cranked that whip. They cranked it up, and they got up out of there. They cranked it up, and they turned it all the way up. Houston turned it up in that fourth quarter. I'm talking about Nico Collins. Holy moly. Crazy catches, crazy contested catches. Davis Mills putting the ball where it needs to be. I don't know if Nico Collins had any touchdowns today. I don't know off the top of my head, but I know he had a clutch 2-point conversion, 29-18. The Jags get the ball. They kick it back off. They go 3 and out. Their defense stepped up. They went 3 and out. And now you're thinking like, whoa, could we possibly have a game? It was 29-10 going into the fourth quarter. Jacksonville has basically been cruising. They've been on cruise control. They got 10 early points. Well, really 17 early points. I think it was 17-0. They were cruising. They were like, bro, 17-0. Davis Mills, backup quarterback. I mean, we could go 3 and out a couple times. We still can win. Nico Collins again. Another tough deep ball. They driving, they're going, they're scoring. Now it's 29-24 because they tried a 2-point conversion that failed. Then Jacksonville has another chance. And what did we say? They've been cruising. Their offense really hasn't been doing much. They just been cruising off of turnovers and short fields. Another 3 and outs. It don't matter about the score. It don't matter about none of that. If you got a young quarterback that you want to build your team around and you think that it's your franchise quarterback, it don't matter what the rest of the game is like. It's your turn. You got the ball. What you gonna do with it? If you're not gonna score, a touchdown, the least you gotta do, the least you can do as a quarterback and as a team, as an offense, is salt the clock away, drain as much clock as you can. Just try that at least. 3 and out are only a minute took off the clock. Houston just scored. Now they're getting the ball back, but they're getting the ball on their own 7-yard line. So if they make this drive, if they score, they went the whole field, and they did it. 18 plays, 80 yards for the lead. A little bit of that pass, a little bit of the run, mixing it in. The offensive play caller was in his bag of tricks, was in his trick-or-treat bag with those play callings at the end of the game. Davis used his legs to give them the lead. Now it's 29-30, and Jacksonville is looking sick. They looking like they on the top of the roller coaster right before they hit the dip. They looking sick. They looking worried. They looking like, are these seats gonna hold us? Is this regulation, or is this seatbelt even buckled? They looking sick, and they looking just uncomfortable now. And then Jacksonville has another chance. They have another chance, y'all. They got another chance after all of this. After them blowing the game, blowing the lead, just being trash, can't do nothing on offense. They got another chance, y'all. And you know what they do with it? Do you know what they do with it? Trevor Lawrence, bro. It was so bad, bro. I don't know if he fumbled or threw a pick, or I don't know what happened, but it was just bad. Somehow the defender got the ball in his hands. He run into the end zone at the end of the game, and it's game over. It was already game over, but now it's double game over. It's the double loss.